Welcome to Uniting the Cults. This episode is very fresh. This discussion happened this morning, and I just a couple of hours ago with somebody on the our ex-Muslim or ex-Muslim subreddit. Um, Somebody asked, "Why would a God that exists have to be good by our standards?" And actually, they asked this 2 weeks ago, but I recently replied, and the discussion actually this discussion started 2 weeks ago, or this question, they asked me this 2 weeks ago, uh, but I replied today during one of my videos, and it's sort of reached a point where it needs more effort, and this is like a escalation of effort. So let's see, let's put it on the screen. Let me go to the beginning first. So this was 2 weeks ago. Dear Muslims, why do you think it matters whether or not God exists? And I said, I don't think it matters. I live my life in a way where it works either way, whether there is a God or isn't. If there is a God, I'm going to heaven. If there isn't a God, then my life was great. Because when you do the right things, you make friends in the world instead of enemies. When you do the wrong things, you make enemies instead of friends. And my life is better with friends instead of enemies. So I asked people to explain their reasoning for why it matters that there's a God or not. Somebody said, "You're right, existence doesn't matter. However, religion tends to bend the narrative surrounding God. And this is particularly seen in Islam's case when religion comes knocking on your door and terms it God's will, then it does matter whether he actually exists or not." I said, if there was a God, he would be good, and so I would go to heaven because my morality works either way. So no, it doesn't matter. And they replied, no, that's not what I said. I think they totally misunderstood. I could have replied to them, no, that's not what I said. They ignored my point. They tried to sidestep it, and then they didn't continue it. But somebody else asked, basically continued the discussion instead of the other person, Anon Amir. Out of curiosity, why would a God that exists have to be good by our standards? Why can't it be mean or maybe even be indifferent about humanity? I said, it's the contradictions that are the issue. God can't have contradictions. And he said, or she, I'm just going to go with he since it's here as a he. What would be contradictory about an indifferent or mean God? Unless you have a specific kind of God in mind, one that would have to be good by definition, but it depends on the God in question. I don't see why some God that exists could be evil or indifferent. So I'm going to clarify something here. This is something I tell him later in these towards the end of these 17 replies. And I gave him a tool. I think he was getting confused by semantics. I think he didn't understand what purpose is here. Because when I used different language, he got stuck on the purpose word. And so I gave him a tool that he could use, which he chose not to, but I'm going to go ahead and do it for him or instead of him. And I'm going to put it in right here. And what I basically told him is anytime you saw me use the word purpose, it means this other thing. And the other thing is just something simple, like a reason or an explanation. So I said everything has purpose, which is like saying everything that any claim you're going to have better have an explanation of why it's there. What would be the purpose of a God that is mean to us? What problem is it intended to solve? Whatever the answer to that question is, it's full of contradictions. So I'm going to edit this. Save that. Go on to the next one. He said things only have purpose as long as there are minds around that those things have a purpose to. It's entirely subjective and there is nothing inherent about it. So I said, so why would anybody believe in an idea about God that doesn't have purpose? So this is, let me replace that now. So why would anybody believe in an idea about God that doesn't explain why it's there? Like, it's just a claim without argument, an assertion without explanation. We shouldn't. It doing so is anti-scientific. It's mythology. Because he says, because as I pointed out, purpose is relevant or for whether something does or doesn't exist. So let's do it again. And I'll leave that one the way it is. They said, you claimed that everything has a purpose. Then you asked, okay. So let's do this now. Edit. Why would a person adopt an idea that has no explanation for why it would be true, why it makes sense, why it's should be adopted? The idea I'm referring to is God is mean. It's stupid to adopt ideas that are just bald-faced claims. It's nonsense. It's anti-scientific. It's mythology. The correct approach is to only adopt ideas that there is an explanation for, and that explanation has survived all known criticism as best one knows that criticism. This is how science works. Anything else is mythology. He says there are, in fact, concepts of evil, mean, and deceiving gods. Yeah, and they're bald-faced claims, unless there is an explanation, but he's not providing it. You can question the purpose of that all day long. Maybe they make for a better story. So I said those concepts need to be presented with purpose. Okay, so let me rephrase. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Apply, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm done. Now I'm going to just post it here as soon as I finish this recording and editing. If you like this video, please press like and please subscribe to the channel. It's really needed for, if this is help, if you find this helping you, other people can be helped too, and there's a lot of people that need help. And hitting like and subscribing to the channel, for one thing, you'll see more, but more than that, it affects the algorithm, so more people will see this.